Tomorrow is April 1st, which means we are now 15 days away from tax day, the deadline to file your personal tax return, and we're highlighting the important information you need to know. Doug Snyder is here with us. He is a certified public accountant, a tax advisor, and a board member of the South Carolina Association of CPAs. So, Doug, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Good morning, Mel.
Let's start with deductions. What kind of expenses can we deduct on our tax returns?
There's a lot of availability for deductions on the tax return. The difficulty is that how it gets there, and it gets a little confusing.
Yeah.
So, but you do start with the 1040, but then you go to what you call the Schedule A that has 6 different categories to it, which starts out with medical and dental. But all of these deductions, while you list the deductions, a lot of them have limitations. And so that's where it gets a little confusing. But like in the medical and dental, you can only deduct greater than 77.5% of the adjusted gross income, which, you have to spend more than that to get that deduction.
Right.
And then also when you go to
we got state and local taxes next.
Oh yes, state and local taxes. That again, you have property taxes, your state taxes you can deduct on your return. However, it's limited to a total of $10,000. So when you live in areas like in South Carolina, you spend a lot more than $10,000 on your state tax and local tax, but that's limited.
And then mortgage interest is next.
Mortgage interest, that's correct. You do get to deduct your mortgage interest. However, the interest above a mortgage of greater than $750,000 is not deductible, so you are kind of limited on that. And what you've spent on that mortgage, if you've got a line of credit, you've got to make sure that you've put that on the house and not taken that line of credit money and gone on vacation. You're not supposed to deduct it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
What about charitable contributions?
Yes, you do have charitable contributions also. The limit there is pretty high because you can only deduct about 50 to 60% of your overall adjusted gross income, but most people don't contribute over half of their income. But there is a limit there. And
casualty losses, explain what that is.
Well, it's great in South Carolina, North Carolina, and these areas where you have a disaster. If you're not reimbursed all by the insurance, then the amount that you do pay out, you're able to take some deductions there. So casualty losses are also on the Schedule A.
And of course, we had some disasters here at the end of last year in South Carolina.
That's
so
right.
Some people might be using that.
It may help with the tax.
All right, let's talk about standard deductions. We've heard the term, but what does it mean?
It means that what I just explained about all those expenses going through and doing that, you don't necessarily have to do that because you get a standard deduction. Depending on your filing status, you get that amount of standard deduction no matter if you spent that or not. But what I have most of my clients do is go through the pains of going through the itemized deduction because it typically can be sometimes higher, but sometimes you don't want to do that, but you get that for single, you get $14,000. The married filing jointly is $29,000. The head of household is $29,000. So
yeah, I was going to say it seems like a lot of work and time. Is it worth all the effort? But it depends on your situation, really.
It absolutely does.
What about itemized deductions, and are those the only expenses that we can take on our tax return?
No, we've been through the itemized deductions. That's on Schedule A, but there are other deductions like there's child care expenses that has a different form. You have student loan interest potentially some student tuition that you're able to deduct. And also, if you're a self-employed individual, there's another form that has business expenses that you're able to deduct.
All right, and then any other information where people can go to maybe get in touch with you if they're looking for someone to do their taxes or just find some information on how to do their taxes? Absolutely.
Well, there's the IRS website. There's the South Carolina website, and then of course my website is listed here. So happy to help out. These next 15 days will go much quicker than you think they're going to.
Especially people who are procrastinators. Doug, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it, and make sure you stay tuned. Next Monday, we're going to be talking about potential tax credits and refunds.